going to message you. I'm like, wait, come back, please. We still want to talk to you.
Something we said.
What did we do? Do you not like us anymore?
Welcome to the Incoherent Fangirl,
where Sarah Ainsley's book may not have been in the script, but her interview today is.
Yes, it is, and we're so excited to talk to her. I'm Mandy of Ketterdam.
And I'm Karin from Stony Brook High. Welcome, welcome.
That sounds familiar.
I don't know if you've read it yet, so it's from Ellie is Cool Now.
I haven't read it yet, but I feel like it's very close to another book you've read in the past, I feel like.
Maybe.
Like another place you've been from.
It's possible.
Very cool.
In our timeline, it is March 23rd, and in y'all's timeline, it's March 31st.
That freaks me out. I'm going to start like taking my headphones off when you say these things.
Where did the time go? I don't understand how it's the end of March. My brain is not, I don't understand that. I don't understand it at all.
If you're a patron, can we take a moment to appreciate how fancy Karin looks on her new laptop? She looks so nice. Not that she didn't look wonderful before, but
your camera
picture is
much
chef's
better.
Kiss. Yeah.
Yes. One correction from last week. I am the world's biggest liar. Last week, I corrected myself to say that Damsel came out on a different date than I originally said. I still said the wrong date.
Oh no.
It actually comes out on April 18th, and that is my final answer.
Final answer, okay.
Final answer. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know. There's been a lot going on. There are a lot of books coming out on April 11th and April 18th. I just got them confused. So, anyways, that's all.
It will come out when it comes out. How about that?
I'm not correcting it anymore. I'm done. This week in fangirling. Mandy, tell me what you did.
I did not do anywhere close to all of the things that I planned. We had a bit of a family emergency this week. Everyone's fine, but it resulted in me unexpectedly having my 4-year-old niece during like the work week, school week time period. And while I know that a lot of parents would be like, well, I had a 4-year-old for a whole year of it being a 4-year-old. In its environment, you did. This little girl did not have her bedroom, her toys, her routine. So coming to Mimi's house was going to bed at 8:30. Are you crazy? I'm at Mimi's. Put on Tangled. We're watching this. And then she was very shocked to learn that she still had to go to school. So I had to like go on site the day that I had her. But anyways, because of having her and some stress of having her for a couple of days and getting her back and forth to my mom and worrying about our relatives, which again, everyone's fine. I did not get to read hardly anything. I have not finished Shadow and Bone, but I started it. It is so good. It is so and one of my favorite things that I did get to do this week was I've been working really hard on peer pressuring Karin into reading the Grishaverse books. And
I was like sitting here thinking, I'm like, Mandy's been trying to gaslight me into this.
Yeah. I'm sorry. The cast made an inspiration video talking about all of the inspirational Asian influences that they have.
Mandy knows exactly how to attack me.
And I mean, what's literally so funny, I like wrote her out this text where it was like, I can't even remember all of my reasons. I knew it was the star is a mixed race Chinese woman. I knew that Tamar and Toya are Asian actors. And there was one other thing where I was like, I just like need you to know that you need to read this. And then the next day the inspiration video comes out. I was like, listen. I think
it was a coordinated attack.
Yeah. I was like, thank you, Shadow and Bone, for having my back on this. So gaslighting you was fun this week. I am like minutes away, literally just like a few minutes away from finishing The Heartbreak Bakery by A.R. Capetta, which is it's the story about a person. She uses she she them pronouns, I'm sorry, and it just kind of flips back and forth. I'm going to use they them in describing this character moving forward because it feels like that's where they're leaning, because they're kind of in a crisis of they've always more identified as female, but the more that they grow in this book, they're like, I don't know if that fits me. I don't know if that's the box I want to be in. But it follows Sid, who's a baker at the Proud Muffin, which is a Alphabet Mafia friendly bakery in Austin, Texas. And like I mentioned last week, Sid bakes a batch of brownies, and everyone who eats it breaks up with their significant other, their person. And so Sid is the first one in a breakup. That's on like the back of the book, like that's not a spoiler. And they enlist the help of their friend Harley, who has a messenger bag with a pronouns pin that they wear, so it's usually he or they. And chaos kind of ensues because they realize that any emotions that Sid puts into their brownies is the chain reaction, is the, like Sid is really anxious about like, oh my god, I made all of these people break up, and then everyone who eats the next batch of pie is really anxious and freaking out, and it makes things worse and things kind of spiral. There's a lot of growth. It's beautiful. It's really like the sweetest book, and I'm seriously within like 10 or 15 minutes from finishing it. So that was the second book that I planned to read for the Trans Rights Readathon. I've decided I'm going to donate $50 because I'd figured I was going to read maybe 4 or 5 books this week. That was not the case because of the family emergency, but that's what I'm going to donate unless I happen to read a bunch of more books in the next few days. And I'm still trucking away at The Evergreen Air by A.K. Mulford. Nilo is my baby angel. Talhan is shockingly like, this is a Chris Hemsworth style character, which I normally don't gravitate towards, but he said something today that I like nearly left this world over. So Nilo is a very, very, very introverted person. They want their book. They want quiet. They want to be left alone. They don't want to be the heir. They don't want to, be the next ruler. They don't want to be bothered at all. They have grown up in the Southern Court, which I mentioned last week was like the pleasure court, we're free, we do what we want, and there are a lot of substances at play. And Nilo's mother has fallen, and this is very early in the book, this is not really a spoiler, has fallen into some addiction with some of these substances. And Nilo at one point goes in to try and destroy some of these substances, but forgets to open the grate on the fireplace that they throw the substances in, and ends up insanely high themselves. And so Talhan goes in and saves them, and they, while they're high, are very interested in Talhan. And Tal says, when I touch you, the only thing you're going to be high on is me. Excuse me?
Dead.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry, what?
I'm sorry, what did you say? So I'm taking Talhan a lot more. Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm not normally a Tal girl. Normally I'm a Renwick girl, which was the which is the lead in The Witch's Blade. But Talhan might be turning me around to Chris Hemsworth. This is the first time I've seen like a character that gives me like Thor vibes that I've been like, oh, okay.
When they say something like
I'll allow it.
that.
Yeah, I was like, Jesus Christ, man.
Whew.
Yeah. And that was my week. Like literally after the baby went with my mom, I think that both twins and I were in bed and asleep by like 9:30 that night. And then like the next night, it was yesterday too. Like we got off work and school, and it was just like I ordered food because like the thought of cooking made me want to die. And like we did nothing but just like lay around because like it is so exhausting to go from no 4-year-old to full 4-year-old during the like on the weekends it's fine, but work week 4-year-old that doesn't live in this house is a whole different ballgame. So we're all so exhausted. We're taking days to catch up.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, I watched Tangled. We watched Punzel at bedtime, so I did do that. But that's been my week in fangirling. What did you do? I hope you had a more eventful week than I did.
I
in
did.
an enjoyable sense.
Listen, I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books since I last talked to you on
Jeez.
Thursday. So let's get through this. I read Go Hex Yourself by Jessica Clare. It follows Reggie, who she answers an ad in the paper, which she thinks she's going to be the assistant for somebody who works on her favorite like card game. What she really gets is she becomes an assistant for an eccentric witch, and she finds
Hey.
out that magic is real and kind of panics a little bit, but then grows into it. And the job has really great perks, but she also has to put up with the witch's super grumpy nephew, Ben. And
Hot.
they don't get along at all. But then the witch
Hot.
gets cursed and they have to work together in order to save her. And it's a romance
Hot.
book, so chaos ensues.
Yes.
This book was described to me as very heavy on Rilo fanfic and low on plot. And
That
the
is
entire
all I
time,
want.
the entire time, I that's all I could picture was Adam Driver.
Now
as
you know how I
Ben.
feel every time I read a book.
I was
ever.
like, okay, I can see that. And he's, I mean, yeah, it was very cute.
And people try to tell me that man is not attractive, and I'm sorry. You're wrong. That's wrong. False. False.
Objectively, you are wrong.
Yes. From
so
on an elemental level, you're wrong.
So yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't like they feel like they're supposed to be high stakes, but it never really felt high stakes to me personally, because I figured out what happened at the very beginning, or what was going to happen
Yeah.
at the very beginning. It was a pretty predictable book, but I have no complaints. It was fine.
Most contemporary romances are
Yeah.
pretty predictable. So like
Yeah.
that's what you want. I don't
It's-
want high
I would-
stakes.
Yeah, it was, I will say I don't want to say it because it's kind of a spoiler, but I just reading the description and the name of the book just gives everything to me. And then reading the book, I was like, yeah, okay, I see where you're going with this. So yeah. But it was fine. And then I read Ellie is Cool Now by Victoria Fulton and Faith McLaren. Ellie, I think I've talked about the book before. Ellie is a TV screenwriter for a show about the cool kids in high school. The problem is Ellie was never one of the cool kids. And her showrunner has decided that she's gotten too cynical to be writing for these high school kids. So he is dangling a promotion to co-executive producer in front of her face to force her to go to her high school reunion and get a fresh perspective.
Oh,
It's basically everybody's worst nightmare. But begrudgingly, Ellie does go to her high school reunion, but she goes armed with an Ellie is Cool Now list from her friends, which involves several things that she needs to do to kind of make up for her high school experience. Nobody's really as she expected them to be, and she kind of figures out, like, in real life, you can't just rewrite the script. And it is... It's weird because the book gave me weird high school nostalgia, and then in the same moment I was like, wait, I hated high school. Why am I nostalgic for it? And then it was
it. Yeah, I loved it. But you could not pay me to go to my high school reunion now.
I should correct myself. I didn't hate high school. I hated who I was in high school. You know, like, because you're an awkward teenager. Like, and you haven't figured out who you are, and it's just, I think back on that time and I'm like, you're so cringy. Why are you so cringy?
Yeah.
So yeah. And then I will say I want to give a trigger warning. There's a very, very bad attempt at sexual assault that actually is kind of funny. So, but in case anybody, like, just
if it's not a trigger for you, then it's funny.
Yeah, if it's happened to you, you probably wouldn't find it funny. But it is it's a very bad attempt at it, and she puts him in his place. So
good.
And then I read Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Dooley. Oh my god, this book is so, like,
shockingly good.
Shockingly, heartbreakingly good. Like, oh my god, I had, like, the biggest book hangover after I finished it. Like, wow. So it follows Donis, who is a biracial, unenrolled tribal member, and she chooses to put off going away to college in order to stick close to home to help take care of a family member who's been sick. She witnesses a very shocking murder and then gets thrust into the middle of a criminal investigation and agrees agrees to go undercover to kind of help the investigation along in order to kind of save her community, because she doesn't think that the police are going to help her community at all. So she wants to be a part of it.
And
And
they
nothing.
don't, and that's not a spoiler of the book.
No.
In real life,
In
they
real
don't
life,
help
they don't.
Indigenous tribes at all.
No, exactly. And so it was kind of like the only thing that she could do in order to help her community, even though she really didn't want to be involved in it because she knows that they suck. And then nothing is as it seems. She's racing against the clock because deaths keep piling up, and it's just, I don't know how. Oh, it's so good. It's like, and I feel like it sheds such a light on how bad authority is towards Indigenous tribes and all of that.
And especially Indigenous women.
Especially
like,
Indigenous women.
There's an organization called Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women for a reason, because the U.S. government and organized law enforcement do not care about missing and murdered Indigenous women.
Yep.
And it's
even the ones who help them in investigations. And it becomes very clear. I think, like you said when you read this, it's a very important book that everybody should read. Do go into it knowing that there is sexual assault, violence, and death. And drugs and alcohol consumption. But yeah, there are a few triggers. Double check the content warnings on that. But I agree, it's a very important read.
I think it's classified as YA, so they're not going to be anything insanely graphic. But if it's triggering for you, it's triggering for you.
Yeah, so definitely just
if it's graphic.
I think anybody who has triggers is aware enough to check for content warnings regardless of whether we say it, but I do also like to mention it.
We do,
just in case.
I felt really lucky to get to tell Angeline Boulet to her face. I was like, you don't understand how moved I was when I read this book. Like,
I finished it and I had a really big book hangover, and then I was really glad that I knew that there was another book coming. And I read the description of it, and I'm just like, that's gonna be another one that's gonna hit you. Yeah, she's gonna do it again. So yeah, I highly recommend it, and I definitely think everybody needs to read it just to inform yourself, because it may be a work of fiction, but it's taken from a place of reality.
Oh yeah, this is, even though these characters are not real, I'm almost positive that situation has happened to someone.
I guarantee it. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, next book I read was That Wasn't in the Script by Sarah Ainsley, who is our guest for today. It is about Josie, who is moved to New York against her will, and she actually hates New York, and she dreams of returning back to her hometown in Ohio for college to become a screenwriter, which I thought was an interesting choice, because you would think people would go to New York for anything film related. But she's a teenager, she crazy. One night at her job, a teenage boy falls asleep at the restaurant, and she really is like, I don't know what to do, but her coworkers just go toss him in the alley with the homeless people. And she's got this, I know, right? She's got this
child?
Yeah. Well, they couldn't wake him at all. He was dead to the world. And so her coworker was just, and she was like, I can't do that. And she lived across the street from the restaurant where she worked at. So this girl drags this unconscious teenage boy into her apartment, where it's just
call 911.
Where it's just her and her little sister, because her mom is gone to DC, and she puts him in her room. She sleeps on the couch and all of that. Well, turns out he is teenage heartthrob Rowan Adler, who has run away from his aunt and his bodyguard because he doesn't want to be in the spotlight right now. He's feeling overwhelmed. And so, yeah. And Josie, once she finds out, she's kind of contemplating can I sell this story to the tabloids in order to help put myself through college? And so she sticks around, she goes to walk into the subway, and he he pulls a doctor, and is just grabs her and is run. And so they go on adventures throughout New York, and she's trying to needle him for information. She's seems like she's trying to get to know him, but she's also trying to gather information so that she can sell it to the tabloids. kids. And so it's just like, it's a very interesting story. And it was fun. There were a lot of adventures. It made me kind of want to explore like my own hometown because Josie has lived there for a year and she basically has gone to school, to work, and home and nowhere else while living in New York. So they go to all the places in New York, like great restaurants, they go to tourist traps, all of these things that she's just like, oh my gosh. Like they went to Times Square at one point and she was just like jaw dropped, like, girl, you live here. But she just didn't want to do any of it. So it was just cool. And I was just like, they go to a lot of restaurants that had a lot of really good food. And so I'm like, damn it, more food and books.
I saw a TikTok today, I think, where this girl was like, watch me take my Diet Coke break. And she's like working from home. She goes and gets in her car and has to tell Google to give her directions to her nearest McDonald's.
What?
And it was like, all of the comments were like, how do you not know how to get to your McDonald's?
I could direct
and you made me think of that because she's like lived there.
What?
Yeah, I
could direct you to like
McDonald's.
Yeah, for with my eyes closed. Like, what?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
but it's like maybe she's one of those people who like I moved here, I work from home, I don't leave.
Yeah, but yeah,
I don't know.
I mean,
like,
it was a fun time. It was a fun time. There was a lot of suspension of disbelief that needed to happen. Like there are some things you're just like, this is not reality. But if you just put all of that aside, it's an adventure. I enjoyed it. Next I read, and this was the next 3 books I read were actually for the Trans Rights Readathon. I read The Honeys, which is by Ryan LaSala, who uses all pronouns, I think.
Ooh, I read that.
It's so good and was not at all what I was expecting. So we've got gender fluid Mars, who has always kind of lived in the shadow of his of their twin sister Caroline. And then Caroline dies under these like horrific circumstances, and Mars is completely stricken by grief. They are just like, what just happened? But they also feel like they need to go and figure out what happened. And they think that it has something to do with the summer academy that Caroline went to every year that they used to go to, but something happened and so they no longer attend. But now they're attending in Caroline's place because they had already paid. They think that something happened at the camp that led to her death. And what they find is not really what it seems and not what they expected. And soon, you kind of realize like their memories are not very reliable, and they start feeling like they're being haunted by somebody or something, and that maybe they might be next. So it's like a mystery thriller, and it was not at all what I expected. But it was so very, very good. I very much enjoyed it and I highly recommend it. I will say there's a trigger warning for some transphobia in there, as well as a little bit of like, I guess, a graphic-ish assault. Not like super graphic, but there is like an assault that is there. But generally, it's pretty tame. But it was very good, and I really enjoyed it. And I really think that you would like it because it was very like I could not guess anything that was going to happen in that book.
I love
nothing at all. So it was very surprising to me, and I loved every second of it. The next book was Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston, who I believe uses they, them pronouns. Alex is the first son of the first female president of the United States. And when photos of him and his longtime nemesis, who is the Prince Henry of England, they had like a confrontation at the royal wedding, and photos got leaked. And so now the two international powers stage a fake friendship between the two to kind of make the public be like, it's fine. You know, the US and England are fine. But then the fake friendship turns into like a real friendship, and then more than a friendship. And Alex's mother is kicking off her like bid for re-election. And so they're kind of keeping the relationship on the down low to, you know, prevent an international incident, and possibly destroy his mother's chance of being re-elected and plunging us into the horror of a Republican presidency.
Oh God.
Yes. So the trigger warnings that I wrote down is there's subtle bits of homophobia. Like it's not outright homophobia, but you know it's there. That's the intentions behind it.
You know what they mean.
Also, specifically for my bisexual babies, there is actual depiction of bisexual panic, and it is the most accurate thing I've ever seen in my life. It was amazing. I about threw myself across the room and started screaming. I was about to say I threw the book, but I was listening to it on audiobook, so I didn't throw out the book.
Yeah.
I just threw
Through
myself.
the phone.
Yeah. It was very cute. I really liked it. It was fun. It was fun to see these two like idiots just like realize that, hey,
Yeah.
maybe our first impressions weren't the best. So I recommend it. And the last book that I read was Meet Cute Diary by Emery Lee, who uses er pronouns. Noah has officially come out as trans and is living openly now that he's left his bigoted hometown in Florida. He
course.
is the owner of Meet Cute Diary, which is an online blog that shares meet cute stories about trans individuals. The only problem is that all the stories are fake. He made them up. When an online troll exposes the diary as fake, Noah kind of spirals and panics until Drew comes along and saves the day and agrees to fake date Noah as kind of a attempt to be like, hey, that was our meet cute, so the rest of the stories have to be true. And then eventually Noah kind of has to like reevaluate, because he has like this list of like how you fall in love, and there's 12 steps for like the perfect relationship, and he kind of has to reevaluate those ideas because there's somebody else who is there that maybe might be a better fit for Noah than Drew. And trigger warnings for attempted suicide that is spoken about in the past tense, not descriptive at all, but it's mentioned. There's some brief transphobia and some brief and subtle homophobia. And one of the things I loved most about this book was that there was a character who was trying to figure out who they were throughout the entire book. So there were points where this character was like, hey, I don't think he, him fits for me anymore. Can we try they, them? And then like a little bit later, they're like, you know what? I don't think they, them fits for me. Can we try, er? And there were a couple of changes throughout the book, and it was very like nice to see the actual like process where they're like exploring who they actually are and trying to figure that out. And it was very
like
cool.
Dylan Mulvaney.
Yeah. It was very, very cute. The one critique I have is that Noah is a 16-year-old boy, and it's written from Noah's POV. So it's really, really annoying.
Yeah.
The voice is really annoying because it's a teenage boy. So we're getting all of this from a teenage boy who's like super self-centered, talks about things, is annoyed about things, whiny as fuck. And so it's just like, but it's so real. Like that's exactly how a teenage boy would talk.
Right.
But as an adult reading that, I'm just like, oh yeah, I forgot how annoying teenagers are.
I forgot you're terrible. Yeah. I forgot teenagers.
So
I can't say that too loudly in my house, but yeah.
The worst. I don't have one yet.
The worst, burr.
So that's what all I read this week. And then for movie night, we watched Julie and Julia, which
that's a good one.
It was very good. I had not seen it before. We've got Julie, who is in the present day. She's starting a blog about her trying to complete every recipe in Julia Child's cookbook within a year. And then there's bits and pieces of Julia Child's life in the past and kind of how she got to the point of writing and publishing that cookbook. And it's very good. She does get a little cuckoo bananas in there at some point, but it's I felt like it was pretty real. Like if you are putting all this pressure on yourself and this is what you've got, and then you kind of have mental breakdown, that's kind of how it feels. Especially when there's one part where she's like crying and she just lays down on the floor and is just like, when we were talking to Vivian and Eugenia, and there's that little girl who's just laid down in the middle
grocery store, the farmer's market.
Yeah, that was exactly what I thought of, because that's exactly what she did in the middle of her kitchen, because she was just so frustrated. She was like, I was like, this is so relatable. There are times where I literally just want to throw myself down and like that. So it was fun. It was a good time. I enjoyed it.
Hey, you perfectly segued into, I was thinking, because, we talked last week about, or we know that my mom and my sister and I love You've Got Mail, and he talks about Legally Blonde. And I was like, there's one more movie that we quote all the time, but I couldn't like
stop it. Is it really this movie? movie?
No, it's not
Oh.
Julia and Julia. It's The Devil Wears Prada, which also
Okay.
stars Stanley Tucci.
Okay, you know what's hilarious? We were supposed to watch The Devil Wears Prada.
Stop.
I'm not even kidding. We were so Beth, it was Beth's turn to choose and she chose The Devil Wears Prada, but then it wasn't streaming anywhere, or it was streaming on like I don't even know, something that she didn't have. I have the DVD, so I was going to pop the DVD in. But she
Yeah.
didn't have it, and then it wasn't streaming anywhere she could access, so we had to pivot. So we
That
were
is
supposed to
crazy.
watch The Devil Wears Prada.
That
That's
is insane.
hilarious.
Yeah.
That's so
Because that is the
funny.
one, like one of our favorites. Like if someone's really slow and we're like in a hurry, we'll say, by all means, move at a glacial pace. You know how that thrills me. And so like we'll text that to each other because I was like, there's one more that we quote all the time. And
There
like
you
I'll
go.
quote it and not even realize it. And it's that. It's The Devil Wears
That's
Prada.
so funny. Yeah, because we literally were gonna watch The Devil Wears Prada. Like ever
Have
since
you ever seen it?
Oh, I have. I have.
Okay.
Yes.
I was
I've seen
getting
The Devil.
very scared.
I have it on DVD. So
That's
I've
right.
seen
You
it.
did say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which technically doesn't really mean much because I have books I've owned that I haven't read, but still.
True.
But
Well,
yeah,
listen,
no.
you've never seen Legally Blonde. Like I have to prepare myself for anything with you.
That's fair. No, I think it's a safer assumption to assume that I haven't seen something. Like, you're more likely to be correct to assume that I haven't seen something than you are to be correct thinking I've seen it. So, but anyways, that was my week.
Do you have a fictional boyfriend or girlfriend or non-binary friend you want to talk about with the class?
I do. I think I'm gonna have two. My fictional boyfriend, I am going to say, is Paul Child from Julie and Julia, because that man is the sweetest and the most
Yeah.
supportive and never once like raised his voice. He was just like, yeah, honey, we can do that. Or
Yeah,
he
whatever you want.
goes with the flow. Like, who does that? It was amazing. I
Stanley
spent so much time while we were watching that movie. I was like, we stan Paul. Like, my God.
Do you follow Stanley Tucci on TikTok?
No.
If you don't find that man attractive and you follow him on TikTok, you will. All he does all the time is cook, and he's always so well dressed. He's always got like a sweater tied around his shoulders.
Oh my God.
And he's just like, I had some pancetta and some peas left over, so I've sauteed them in some garlic until it got really aromatic, and then I put them on some farfalle bow tie noodles, and I popped them into the oven, and it's 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm gonna eat this.
I love him already.
Stanley, I'm in love with you.
Oh my God. I love.
Yeah.
So yeah, Paul Child, and then my
That's a good one.
second one is gonna be I'm gonna describe them as gender questioning Devin from Meet Cute Diary. When we first meet Devin, so Devin was, I think, trans and came out as a girl previously, and then was like, no, actually I'm non-binary, so they them. And then throughout the book, they were like, that doesn't feel right, and we're just so easily like trying to figure out who they were. And I
Right.
thought that was really sweet, and they were always like, they've been through so much in their life, but like always had a smile, never once got mad at anybody. Like Noah like flaked on like coming to one of their parties even after promising like up and down that he was going to be there, and he was like so like apologetic after the fact, but they're like, oh no, it's fine, I figured, whatever, it's not a big deal. And they were just like, so like, not,
Angel.
I don't think there was maybe like one time. Oh, I remember what it was. There was one time where they were just like, I have to apologize for lying to you. And Noah's like, what? And they're like, remember how I told you that I had a coupon so that I could get your coffee for free when I got mine? It doesn't actually start until after 2 p.m. And I was like, that's the worst thing that you've done? Oh my God. I love
Angel.
you. Sweet angel. So,
Sweet baby angel.
yes, that's Devin and Paul.
I love them both.
How about you?
I have 3.
Oh, okay.
I know you didn't think that I was going to watch even part of Shadow and Bone and not bring out the Darkling, because covered in scars now, you're better, baby. You're better. I don't like it's Ben Barnes, okay? Like he can do no wrong. The man is so beautiful that it should be illegal. Like I just those dark, like his eyes are so brown that they're almost black and you just get lost. Anytime he's on the screen, you're just like, I don't know what's happening. I just know that I'm drooling. And then my book boyfriend in this series. Okay, so I have a couple. In the Shadow and Bone books, I was obsessed with Matthias Helvar. They call him at one point, and the plot of Six of Crows that you learn very quickly is that it's like a heist to break someone out of this like high security prison.
Okay.
What do they call it? Hell's Gate. And the character is Matthias. And like it's like a terrible prison. Like they make the soldiers fight to the death sometimes, fight monsters, fight, other inmates that are hopped up on all kinds of stuff. And at one point, they're talking about Matthias and they're like, take the giant. He's muscular and hot. So I love him. I put Matthias. My favorite character out of the entire Grishaverse from like a book boyfriend standpoint was Nikolai, who's finally in this season. But I haven't really gotten much of Nikolai yet. So it's the Darkling and Matthias from Shadow and Bone, but then Talhan Catalyst from the Evergreen Heir, the Golden Eagle. They call him that because he's a twin and they both are like auburn haired and golden. And I want to say they both have like eagle eye archery. I think
Okay.
I can't. They've been being called the Golden Eagles, both he and his twin Bree, for 4 books now. Can't really remember why, but I think it had something to do with like their aim. And the first time I touch you, you're only going to be high on how much you want me.
Such a good line.
Yeah. So I was
Oh
like,
my
oh,
God.
you're a fictional boyfriend this week, fair pal. Congratulations to you.
Oh, yes.
So those are my fictional boyfriends this week.
Tell me, where'd your money go this week?
It did not go very far because I have been at home. I have not really gone or done anything. We did go so we had our adults evening out last weekend and we went to Pearl, which was wonderful. Then we went to the tiki bar and had a few drinks. And so then we were like, Josh only had one. So like he wasn't irresponsible, but the rest of us were, and we weren't irresponsible, but the rest of us were like, we are starving. After drinking all this alcohol, we're starving. So we went to the Rookery and it was like late night. Brent, my best friend was like eating my fries. She didn't want like a whole meal, but like I got a burger. So I'm like chowing down on my burger. It was so good. So that was, tiki bar is not like my money went there. We'll say that. It wasn't a lot, but we drank a good deal. I didn't spend any money on this, but Hachette sent me Parachute Women, which is the story of the women behind the Rolling Stones. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to read it first and then let my grandmother read it, or if I'm going to be nice and let her read it first. The author, Elizabeth Winder, has apparently written books about Marilyn Monroe, Sylvia Plath. So she like knows how to write like nonfiction about like cool women. And then the only other it's like a bookish box thing, but I got Song of Silver Flame Like Night, which I know you did too.
So beautiful. I'm glad you have it with you because I was just looking and saying how I put mine away already.
I almost didn't. So if you're a patron,
oh my God, it's so
our naked
beautiful.
cover.
It's
end
beautiful.
Pages, the letters in there.
It's so beautiful.
Signs. Yeah, it did take my breath away.
It's
how pretty
so
this
gorgeous.
book is.
I love it. It's so
my
great.
money went there, and that's it. I think other than that.
Okay.
Where did your money go? You're looking up.
it's the
same skyscraper.
It's the same. Yeah, nothing new. I actually had to put stuff down somewhere else. Did you get your February Fairy Loot adult book?
I don't know, but you can show me. I look at spoilers, so I don't care.
So Fairy Loot's February adult book is The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi.
I did not, but I saw this on your stories and I had already seen it.
It's so pretty.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It's so pretty. So I opened it, girl, my jaw dropped. When I show you this, you're gonna lose it. So here's naked hardback, 10 pages.
No.
Yes.
It's a gorgeous map
It is
with a
the
kraken.
most beautiful map. It's got foiling on it, and
That
then
is insane.
it's
I'm
so
obsessed.
fucking beautiful. Like literally,
Take
my
that, daughter of the pirate queen
my
or daughter of the pirate king.
oh my god. Yeah, no, that's how you do a map.
Garbage patrons. Look at this. I'm gonna die
Seriously.
mad.
Seriously.
Nope, daughter of the pirate queen. Siren queen.
I love that it's right behind you. Like, why would you do that?
The map is covered. And in the back,
Why?
you're like, oh, we'll just look at the back.
No,
The
it's a
map,
lie.
the other side of the map is still covered. You can't see the whole map either side. I hated it so much. I almost didn't finish the book. I almost, out of principle, was like, I'm not reading this.
Yeah, no.
But then I did.
That's
'cause I
how
liked
that's
the
how you do
story.
a map. That's how you do a map because damn, it's beautiful. And the foil, oh my god, it's stunning. Like literally my jaw dropped and I was speechless. So yes. I got a package from Macmillan and it is an arc of 61 by Chris Paul. I know you're not a sports person. Chris
No.
Paul is one of the best basketball players to have ever lived. He played for many years. I can't remember if he's still playing. I don't remember. I don't think he is. But it's more about his life like leading up to becoming a professional basketball player. And there was a little note that came with it from the publisher, and just reading that got me teary-eyed. So I'm just like, I'm gonna be in my feels about this. So I'm excited for that. Like I've never read a sports memoir, but it's Chris Paul, so I can't say no. I'm excited. The only thing that could be better was if it was Stephen Curry, but you know,
I was gonna say it. That's a name I know.
Exactly.
That's at least a name I know.
We love Steph.
I know Steph Curry. I know Kobe Bryant. I know LeBron James. I know Michael Jordan. I know Shaq.
That's fair. Those are pretty.
That's my basketball knowledge.
That's
in
fair.
a nutshell.
So I got that.
I'm sorry about that, by the way.
That's okay. We can't all be fans of everything. Like it's literally impossible. So I got that. I got, like you did, the Ellen McCrae Song of Silver Flame Like Night. Mine's just over there somewhere. And I got a package. Somebody was like unhauling a whole bunch of bookish stuff. And so of course I went through and got every single thing I didn't have that was Chloe Gong related. So we got some magnets.
Cute.
And then there's a pin. So you got the White Flowers and the Scarlet Gang.
I really need to send you your stuff.
Oh yeah,
from Y'all Fest.
They're there. It's fine.
I'm looking at them. I can see them.
That makes it funnier.
Oh,
and then
God.
I got a little pin banner.
Oh, that's really cool.
To go. So now I can
really need to send you your pin.
So now I have somewhere to put all of the pins that I have, including the one that is at your house.
That's at my house, on top of the ghost books, under the tiki mugs.
I love that you can see them from where you're sitting.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I love it.
That's so annoying.
That's basically where my money went. Not a whole ton.
All right. And a new laptop.
Oh yeah. The biggest purchase of all.
Talked about that, but
is my brand. I'm coming to you from. I can't show it to you because I'm on it right now. Anybody who is following along realizes that my laptop, it was old. I was looking at my old laptop, and it said 2017, which means I've had the laptop for 6 years, and it was very pretty. It was faithful. It was a good girl. It was this beautiful pink rose gold that I love, and I'm really salty that they don't have that anymore. But I did have to upgrade and get a new laptop because mine kept either not turning on, specifically 15 minutes before we were supposed to interview Lana Ferguson.
That was a scary night.
It was very, very scary. It's a good thing that we're friends with Lana.
Yeah, like if anybody else, I would have felt really awkward if you had just like, if you'd have fallen out, I couldn't have kept going. So we're in your Zoom.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it would have been fine. I could have finished, but I couldn't.
So luckily we were able to get through that. But so we had some scary moments where my laptop would not turn on, or I was like 5 minutes from finishing edits and it just restarted. Thankfully, I am a avid Control S or Command S person, so I only lost about 5 minutes of work. But boy, I was starting to scare everybody. So it was much needed. It was time. It was definitely not an expense that I planned for, but here we are. So So yeah, it is what
She
it
gotta do what
is.
she gotta do.
And that sound means we have an intruder alert.
Intruder!
Hi, this week
Hello?
we have Sarah Ainsley. Am I saying that right?
Yes,
Okay,
correct,
perfect.
Ainsley.
Because that's how I've been saying it. So I was
That's what
hoping
it
was
is
correct.
now.
Okay. Even if it's not, I'm gonna agree. That's what I would do. My anxiety would be like, yeah, that's totally it.
Yep,
Even if
yep.
it was
Yeah.
That's my name now. I guess that's just how life is.
I will answer to that forever.
exactly.
Fine.
Anyways, so Sarah is here. She is the debut author of That Wasn't in the Script, which I have my copy here.
Yay! Mine's on my Kindle too. I do have to give you like spirit of full disclosure. I got my copy Monday at the same time that my sister had a medical emergency and I got her 4-year-old.
Oh my goodness.
So
you know
I did
what?
not
You're
I did
forgiven.
not get
There's
to read it.
I work with kids all day. I'm amazed that you even were able to get it onto your Kindle at that point.
Yes, like I got it and I text Karin. I was like, this is so exciting. I'm gonna read it. And then the phone starts ringing and it was like, oh no.
It's been a
4-year-old.
week over at her house, so
Yes.
It is totally okay.
I did read it though.
Yes, Karin
brag.
did the homework.
No big deal.
But that leads into our typical first question. We normally ask our authors to give us like an elevator pitch about like what the book is about for our listeners, or in this case for me, and I feel terrible and I'm so sorry. It's just been a very weird week. But can you tell us?
Genuinely, what is your book about?
Yeah.
So it is a young adult romantic comedy. It's kind of, I say loosely, but it really is based on Roman Holiday. It's a retelling of that movie from the 1950s with Audrey Hepburn and Gregory Peck.
Wow.
And so it's a retelling of that movie, and it's set in New York. So obviously I wasn't going to Rome to make this book. It was just happened in the pandemic, was not in the cards. So it's set in New York, and it's a gender swap. So basically Audrey Hepburn's character is male, Gregory Peck's character is a female named Josie. And the elevator pitch is, well, in the movie, it's basically that Audrey Hepburn plays a princess who's just kind of sick and tired of her life. She's fed up of her schedule, of her royal duties, and she decides, I'm going to go and run away and spend the day in Rome. She ends up taking like sleeping pills before she does this, or she's given some sort of sleeping medication before this happens, and then she falls asleep on the streets of Rome. She's found by Gregory Peck's character, who's a journalist. Obviously, he doesn't know who she is. She doesn't know who he is. He takes her home to kind of like detox, because he's like, well, I don't want this girl to, get arrested or whatever.
Yeah.
So he takes her home. Long story short, he finds out who she is, and he's like, well, I can get a story out of this, because he's a reporter, he's a journalist, is what he does. And he ends up following her around Rome for the whole day. They fall in love. Back to the book, it's a young adult adaptation of that. So you have an actor named Rowan Adler who is kind of tired of the limelight. He's really famous for being on a teen drama. He's just kind of over it. He runs away from his handlers one night. Same thing happens. He takes sleeping pills, falls asleep in a restaurant. Josie, the other main character, it's dual POV, she finds him and thinks, well, I think he goes to my school. I don't want anything to happen to him. She doesn't know who he is. And then she ends up taking him home, and shenanigans ensue of her finding out who he is and thinking, well, I don't want to stay in New York, and I really need money and able to go to college. If I'm able to once she finds out who he is, she's like, well, if I can sell this story, I can get money for it, and I can, leave New York. Follows him around New York, and she kind of starts to develop feelings as they're spending the day together and they're connecting, and she's like, I don't know if I can do this. And that's kind of like, I know you said elevator pitch. That was kind of like every floor of the elevator.
No, you were going to the top floor of the building.
Yes.
You were in
the
elevator for a long time. Yeah.
I wasn't ready to get off. And like, you had me at Gregory Peck and Audrey Hepburn. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
They're the
I
best.
freaking love that. So yeah, I'm gonna read it this week. I'm so excited, but oh my gosh.
I wrote about it, and I was like, there are adventures galore in this, and it makes me want to, like, I was telling Mandy, I'm like, I want to go on adventures in my hometown. Like, I'm not like Josie. Like, I know where things are, but like, I haven't ever explored because I've just always lived here. And so now I'm like, maybe I need to go find like some hole in the walls. Especially when it comes to food. There's a lot of
Yes.
food in this book, and I really wanted to try all of it, except for the trash can.
Yes.
Was it trash can?
Trash plate. Well, it's
Trash
like
plate.
so I had to do like research on this because apparently it's technically called a garbage plate, but the place that like invented it has it patented, so you can't use the name. So everywhere else
Okay.
who makes this is like it's a trash plate. So that was
Okay,
something I
tell
had
me
to
what
learn
it
in
is.
editing. They're like, Sarah, you can't use this because you're gonna get sued if you use the word garbage plate.
Look, I've had trash can nachos and trash can fries, but I need to know if am I having the right thing? What's a trash plate?
So it's very famous to Rochester, New York, and it's basically like it's like I don't know how to describe it. Like I had to do research on this. It's anything you want it to be, but it's for the most part macaroni salad on top of French fries with a hot dog and a cheeseburger. You can do chicken nuggets sometimes if you want to. And it's chopped onions, you add mustard and ketchup, and then they have what's called meat sauce, which you think it's like chili, but it's not. It's basically like lard with I don't know,
No,
like fragments of
that-
Taco Bell meat in it.
I remember hearing about that because I went to Rochester in December to go to the It's a Wonderful Life festival in Seneca Falls, but we stayed in Rochester and everybody's like, you have to get a trash plate. And I blocked it out of my memory. Yes, that's
Actually,
not
it's
what my
funny
trash
that-
can fries are.
It's funny that you brought up It's a Wonderful Life because I just remembered in the book, like, Mandy, you need to prepare for yourself for some slander.
What?
It hurt me too. I have to say though, for the record, it's my favorite movie of all time.
Mine
it hurt me
too.
too. It hurt
Wait.
me too.
Wait.
Wait,
Let me
where
get
is
this
he?
thing. Hold on.
Where is he? Hold on one
I gotta
second.
get the show dog. Hey,
This is very
I
important.
don't want to say your name.
Our Patreons are getting.
This is George Bailey. His sister Tallulah Clare for Clarence is sleeping on the couch. Downstairs we have Harry Potter for Harry Bailey, and we have Zuzu Grace too.
Oh my gosh.
A little bit obsessed, and he's the show dog. Like he's the showstopper. He's
Yeah,
Oh
when
my
I
gosh.
literally when I read that part in the book, I was like, I need to send Mandy a trigger warning. Like there's some slander going on here. She is not going to approve. So I'm
What?
glad that that was not your actual opinion.
No, not my thoughts at all. This is like it's like I think it's the thoughts of funny enough my mom. She like hates it. Like for some reason she hates this movie and that's like my mom's thoughts and I'm all like I'm not related to you.
How do you hate It's a Wonderful Life? It's the greatest movie that was ever made.
Exactly.
I am scandalized.
You're just gonna take
Georgie,
the thing and
don't
throw
listen.
it.
Yeah, don't listen.
But I like that we were
George.
able to clarify this right away so you don't like hate
Yes,
me.
Yeah,
after
so I'm
the
not
fact.
like
That's-
hate
that's
rage
very
texting
important.
you.
Yeah,
Oh my
because
God.
like you mentioned It's a Wonderful Life. I was like, oh, memories coming. Need to mention this. It's very
Yeah, I'm
important.
fully on board with you. Favorite movie ever. We'll watch it any time of year. Do not care.
Yeah, and I cry every time. It doesn't
Every
matter that
time.
I've seen it 100 times. I'm gonna sob like a baby.
Well-
I don't know. It's way too far away. But when I went, you have to go to this. Okay, every year they do the It's a Wonderful Life festival in Seneca Falls one weekend in December because
need
that's like the
to.
town that it was like modeled after. There's the bridge. Like
Yes.
there was a guy who's like acting like Henry F. Potter, like, but they had it's a children's book that's like an illustrated version. And I got it for me. I got one for me and I got one for my baby niece. Obsessed. So much
That's
merch.
amazing.
They have like t-shirts everywhere that say Seneca Falls, the birthplace of women's rights and the home of It's a Wonderful Life.
I love that. I love it.
That's amazing.
See, my only like claim to fame with the movie is that like I don't even know how long ago this was, like 5 or 6 years ago. I went into like a Christmas, they did like a Christmas, type event at the local theater here over in Nashville. And Donna Reed's daughter was there as like the special guest. And so like
Yeah.
she was going and like reading passages from her mom's like diaries, filming, and I was like, this is the greatest day of my life.
Oh my God. I have a selfie with Zuzu, like the little girl, like the
Oh,
woman
yes.
who played Zuzu. And then there was a kid Tommy Bailey and kid Sam Wainwright were there. And then one more guy who was one of the kids, but I can't remember who he was.
That's amazing.
yeah, It's really cool. And it's free. Like you have to pay if you want one of their autographs or something, you have to pay for that. But you just have to pay to like travel there. But it's not like you have to pay to get in.
It's basically It's a Wonderful Life Comic-Con. I'm so here for that.
Yes. And
I
like
love
we
that.
were the only ones under the age of 70 there. It was just me and my husband, but like I was fine. I'm used to
Amongst
that
my
when you
people, it's
say
cool.
yeah, when you say your favorite movie is It's a Wonderful Life, you're not gonna find many 20, 30-year-olds
No,
that
never.
get it. So
Like most of my friends are like, I've never seen it. And I'm like, whatever. Yeah.
Karin, I made her watch it last year.
Yeah, I think that was my first piece of homework after we started the podcast was to watch It's a Wonderful Life.
Well, because I said my dog was named George Bailey and you thought it was from Grey's Anatomy.
I had an existential crisis because this entire time that I have known you, up until that moment, I was like, he's named after George from Grey's Anatomy, which is the stupidest thing I could have ever thought, first of all, because Mandy does not handle like blood and she's super squeamish, so why would she be watching Grey's Anatomy? Like, what?
No,
Where was my
me.
thought process there?
I don't know.
There was none. There was
You
none.
were having
It's a
like the
Wonderful
Taylor
Life
Swift
boy.
Cat Meredith Grey thing going on.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That might be what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was just, the brain was not there. So, Sarah, this book, it started out at something different, right? Like you had written something, and then I remember reading, I think it was on your website maybe, where you had like a spark of inspiration, and this is what came out of it. Like, did any of the original story that you had written stick around, or did you just completely switch it up?
I mean, yes and no. It's funny. The story was always young adult. It was always set in New York, but it always featured an actor falling for a normal girl. So a lot of Rowan's characters stayed the same. The name changed, but a lot of Rowan's characters stayed the same. It was a lot of everything else around the story that changed. I started writing it like literally as pandemic started. Just, I needed something to do. It's like I wanted to start writing creatively for a really long time. And I should say I have written creatively for a long time, but it's been a really long time since I sat down and kind of just like, got pen to paper and did it. So pandemic started writing this story, blah, 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 queried it. Nothing came of it. It was just basically like, I kind of shelved it and gave up on it. And I'm like, well, I gave it a go, I tried doing this. And then I saw Roman Holiday for the first time, like early 2021. It was a very similar case. It's like, well, I've never seen it. All my friends are telling me to watch it. As I'm sitting there watching the movie, I'm thinking, this would make like a really good young adult adaptation. Like someone should do this. And then you're sitting there and the spark goes off like, I could do this.
Yeah.
And so I've had this, obviously, again, the story that I'd shelved, and it had been shelved for a good 6 months. And so I'm like, I wonder if I could just kind of pull elements from this and, start recrafting the story. Ended up a couple months later taking a trip to New York because I'm like, I want to do this. And if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. So I went around the city, basically all the places that they went in the book I've been to. So in the course of 24 hours, that's what I did. Just went and took notes, took pictures of everything, just jotted down everything I could remember. I'm like, literally, I was thinking the other day, I'm looking through pictures. I'm like, I literally plotted this story standing in line in a bakery over in Greenwich Village, just being like typing as I'm waiting to go buy a cinnamon roll. Like, this is just, it doesn't happen like this. It's crazy how it came to be. But then I got on the plane, kind of just typed out what I thought would be the synopsis and started writing it and pitched it from there.
That's amazing.
That's really cool.
I love that. And it's funny that you mention like sometimes you just get that spark because you often, I follow you on Instagram, I see you, and you're posting things in your stories and you're just like, somebody should write this. And I think one time I was like, girl, you're the writer.
All the time.
I
It's like I always forget too. I'm like, well, this is such a good idea. Why doesn't someone do it? And I'm like, you idiot. You can do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, every time you put, I'm like, girl, you can do it. You're about to be a published author. You can write the story.
Thank you.
Friend of mine
I still forget.
I'm not anywhere close to published, but I did that recently where I was like, just like light bulb moment of someone. I want The Boy Who Cried Wolf retelling. Like imagine the scene where like they're running through trying to tell everyone like the bad thing is happening. It's here, and everybody's like slamming their doors in their face, and then suddenly there's like the one person who's maybe like the enemy's the lovers, the love interest, I don't know, who is like, I'll help you. I believe you.
So good.
And my friend was like, aren't you working on some books? Why don't you write this? And it's like, because I want to read it now, Molly.
That's what we talk about it all the time. It's like, that's the curse of being a writer. It's like, you get all these ideas and you like want to read it right now. But the problem is you have to write it first.
I was going to say, that's the feeling. It's just like, oh, then I have to do it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's going to take so long when I could read this in a few hours and have everything I want. Somebody else would do it.
Or you just, even like, if you're like me, you just kind of question yourself. You're like, can I do this? Am I able to write this? Or like, someone else can surely do this. They're more qualified. I'll just happily read it when they do it, or I'll watch it when they make it.
I'm just gonna wait for you to do it.
So what I'm hearing is that we should pitch all of our ideas to Sarah and have her do it.
Hey,
this is a good plan.
Go into full editorial mode and just be like, okay, here's what we're gonna knock this out.
Between
Listen,
the three of us, we can write something.
Let's do a Rear Window retelling.
Yes. A
I
good
like
one, not like Suburbia that came out like years ago with Shia LaBeouf.
No, yeah, no, none of that. Like a real.
I'll be on board
struggle.
once I watch it.
Right.
The amount of times
love
that
you.
she does that when I say something is hilarious.
Or like a Mommy Dearest retelling, but that's real life too. So I don't know. Karen, have you
To
ever
find
heard
another
No
evil
More
mother
Wire
somewhere.
Hangers?
What?
Joan Crawford was like this actress, right? And I don't think they were her children, were they? They were adopted children.
Yeah, they
I
came
think.
from like the baby farm or whatever was around in the 50s.
Yeah, and like one of the most notable things was like she would make them, like if they didn't finish their dinner, she would like put it back in like the microwave or in the fridge or whatever, and it would be like flies all over it, moldy, and she'd still have them trying to eat it. And at one point somebody, and I feel this on a deep level, so like I understand this one. Somebody has a wire hanger in her house and she's like, this is terrible, it's terrible, it's not funny. She's like hitting the kid with a wire hanger, just screaming, no more wire hangers. But if I see a wire hanger in my house, I get it. I'm not gonna hit a kid with it, but maybe my husband. Like
Something is getting hit with that wire hanger.
yeah.
I feel that.
That would be a hard book to read. That would be a rough one to. I don't want a Mommy Dearest retelling.
Never mind. I've thought about all my life
Never
choices
mind.
that have brought me to this point. And
Mommy Dearest, but as a comedy. Go.
ooh,
Oh,
okay.
God.
How do you make child trauma funny? That's
Yeah.
You live as a child of anxiety and make everything
A millennial.
I
A
was gonna say,
millennial.
it's just a millennial on TikTok.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Exactly. That's what it is.
Yeah. Man, now I just want to go back to like every old movie and be like, this is something that like you could bring the youths and Karin into like the 50s and 60s.
I've never ever been so excited to be a part of the youths in my life.
I feel like you need a shirt that says the youths and Karin.
The youths and if we ever design t-shirts, that's the first Incoherent Fangirl t-shirt is the youths.
I will be
Karin.
the first one to buy one. That's amazing.
Yes.
Oh my God. All right. I'll get to designing. We'll make it happen with my little dinky cricket wherever I hit it.
She said, "Don't threaten me with a good time."
Don't threaten me with a good time. Let's do it. Oh my God.
So what is your writing process like? Like, do you have like a certain, like, we talked to an author last week who said that the interview won't be out for a while, but they said that they like lay in their bed with a bag of Cheetos and Mountain Dew. And like it has to be dark and they just have to write with their like emotional support Mountain Dew. Do you have any like weird quirky writing habits?
I do, in that I have ADHD and I kind of like, I'll get the spurts of writing. So it's like, I'll go months without writing anything. And then I'll have a story idea. And it's like, I got to finish this in the next 3 weeks. This is just how it's going to be. So it's like, I'll wake up and start writing. I'll go to work, think about writing all day, and then get home and just write until midnight, which is like, shouldn't be how it is at all. But it doesn't help that I'm a pantser too. So I'm like, I'm just going to make this all up as I go along.
I feel like you were speaking to my soul.
Absolutely.
All of the words you just said.
Like everything.
Yes.
Were we being ventriloquists? Like, was that us throwing our voices? Like, that's exactly how it felt.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Like,
and then it's the same thing. I'll just like in bed with a bag of M&Ms, just being like, if you don't see me for a couple of days, I'm not mad at you. Like, I'm sorry. This is just how it is.
Mine is like, I have a work in progress that like I sat down with when I had the idea, I wrote 10,000 words. Have I touched it since then? No. But in a few hours, 10,000 words with my bag of hot tamales. Like that's my writing candy is hot tamales. So.
And then you go back, and that's the worst part. You'll go back and re-edit those 10,000 words over and over and over. And you're like,
instead of writing new
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're just like, I should add new ones. No, these 10. I need to edit these 10.
That's exactly where I'm at. I'm at like 12K on my current work in progress, and it's been 12K since I hit it. And I don't think I've picked it up in quite some time. And I just keep rereading it, and then I keep giving myself like little butterflies because this man... I wish this man was real. There is nothing like a fictional man written by a woman.
Amen. Amen. It's like you have to tell yourself, do it for him. Do it for him.
Yes. Oh, you're so inspirational. You're like giving me hope because like I haven't touched mine in months, but I know I'm gonna finish writing it, but it's like I need
That's
that,
exactly
like,
how I'm feeling.
right.
Like she took the words out of our mouths, and I'm like, she's got a book being published
then the do it for him.
Just do it for him. Just do it for him.
We owe it to our fictional men to finish their stories. That is true. That's true.
I
That's
love
a good
it.
point.
Everybody needs to meet them. Everybody needs to meet them.
Yeah. They got to get out of our heads.
Seriously, it's like, if I'm going to fall in love with this person, you need to fall in love with them too. That's just how it's going to be.
I don't make the rules, I just follow them.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Speak,
go ahead.
I'll say, speaking of
Yeah, I was
fictional
gonna say-
men, we always ask this question.
This is the
And this
moment
the
where
moment.
everything leaves your
every
brain.
book you've ever read, every
Mhm.
movie you've ever seen just leaves. Do you have, like, we have our segment called Fictional Boyfriend of the Week. Doesn't have to be a boyfriend, can be a girlfriend, non-binary friend, best friend, whatever. But do you have like certain fictional characters that you're like, that's mine. That's my boyfriend, that's my bestie.
And you're
Bucky
not
Barnes and
allowed to
Peter
say
Parker.
Bucky.
Dang it!
Oh,
dang it.
yes, she is.
No,
Yes,
he's
she is.
mine. I
Bucky
knew
Barnes, Peter
exactly what
Parker.
you were gonna
Always
say.
the two. See, with Peter Parker though, it's awkward because I'm all like, I feel like I'm getting too old for Peter Parker now, so I'm like, I'm his mom.
But here's the
You know?
thing. Peter Parker in the comics is always older. Like, we always see the iteration where he's a teenager on screen,
Yeah.
but he's been an adult for way longer than he's been a teen in the comics.
That's fair.
So-
I can
very
take that.
true.
I
Yeah.
can take this. See, it was that moment watching. I think it was Far From Home, and it was the scene where Tom Holland is in the jail, and I'm having this thought where I'm like, he's gotten older. I feel really weird about this. I shouldn't be looking
Yeah.
at him the way I'm looking at him, but I am, and it's not okay.
Look, that's how I felt watching Elvis with Austin Butler, but I didn't
Yes.
realize, like, I was like, he looks like a child. He's my age. Like,
Yeah.
he's like a year younger than me.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
he looks like a
looks
child.
so
He looks
young.
like he's in his 20s. No, he's in his 30s.
It's kosher.
Yeah.
It's
I
kosher.
feel, it's okay. I feel okay about that.
I know, but I was like, God, I hate that this man is so fine. And then I was like, oh, wait, he's not 22. It's fine.
I knew exactly where Sarah was gonna go. Like, as soon as she like took that breath, I was like, "Wait, you can't speak. I
You
know
can't
who you're
say
gonna
that.
No, he's mine. No, we can share. We can be sister wives. I'm okay
Yes,
with that.
you know what? You'd be the best sister wife ever.
at
I
my
love
little
it.
I was like, "Wait, I have this here. You need to see it."
She's got
Yeah.
a Bucky within reach.
My little Bucky.
I know I have like a little like Funko Pop over there. I'm just like, you're here in spirit, buddy.
Yeah, mine are all in that shelf over there somewhere. Like,
I'm gonna let y'all have Bucky. I'll just leave me Loki. That's all
that's
I need.
fine. That's fine. I'm okay with that.
Loki's all you need.
You know what? They're both dark-haired, traumatized, fictional boyfriends, and we can both agree on that.
So my bestie on my East Coast bestie was talking about how her husband thinks that she always goes for like the good king, like the righteous, blah blah blah. And we were talking about how there's like this, it's like a line. It's like I don't really know how to describe it, but like you have Captain America and he's the good king, the prince, blah blah blah, and then you have Loki on the other end of the spectrum who like does not care and will burn the world down. You've got Bucky in the middle. He could go either way. He could be righteous or he could curb stomp somebody. She's like, I want the Bucky. I want right down the, I don't want the bad guy. I don't want the good guy. I want the middle of the road guy.
You want the one that with the trauma like could go either way. I think that's kind of where
Yeah.
I've taken it. You're just like, because you can relate to that trauma and you're just like, there's something appealing about that.
Mhm.
Yes.
We can be
yes,
traumatized together.
yes.
You can fix each other.
Exactly.
We fix each other.
Those are good answers, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I knew where you were going. I see, like I said, I follow you, so I was like, I know what she's gonna say, which is
Yeah.
why I specifically was like, you need to see Mandy's shirt first of all.
Amazing. I
And
love it
this
so
was
much.
not on purpose. This was just the top of my shelf. I wasn't feeling good earlier, so I was just like, I'm just gonna grab something to look halfway presentable, and it happened to be my. I'm a manifester in these parts, so
It
Yeah,
works.
apparently
it
I
100%
just
works.
know. Apparently I just know subconsciously what
You
to
know
wear.
your audience.
Yes, without even having to try. I'm just like, this is the one today.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
So you're working on something else right now. Can you tell us anything about it? Any secrets?
Well, other than the fact that it was very much a very similar process where I started writing it shortly after finishing that wasn't in the script and then let it sit and sit and sit for a good year and a half. Finally had some inspiration hit, like, I'm going to write this story in a month. So I did that. It's another young adult. It's contemporary. It has romance as more of a B plot in this one, but the way I'm pitching it right now is that it's Almost Famous meets Princess Diaries. So work from that what you will.
Give me that. Give me that.
So when is it going to be in our inbox? Is my first first question.
I will let you know as soon as I know. I'm querying it right now, so we'll see. Fingers crossed. I don't know. I think it's a good story. I recently had a beta reader send it back to me, being like, I mean, obviously they had changes of things that they wanted me to kind of work on, being like, this didn't work, this did. But they're like, yeah, we loved it. No major changes. Story works. And I'm like, okay, cool. Because if I'm like putting the same word in a sentence 5 times, I can forgive myself for that. If the story sucked, I couldn't.
Right.
Yeah. So I
Like-
think that's a good segue, Mandy. It's time to manifest because she's querying. So
It's going to be picked up. It's going to be, we're manifesting that it's going to be purchased by a film industry person too, so that we can maybe have some movie deals, 6 to 7 figure book deals, New York Times bestseller. It's going to happen.
I'll take it. I'll take all of it. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's what
welcome
we do
to our
here.
manifestation corner.
Yes.
If I could snap,
manifest.
I'd be snapping, but I can't, so I'm just awkwardly not going to do it.
I love it. Okay, so another kind of generic one that we also ask every author that we talk to. What are you reading? What are you recommending? Or if you because you're writing, not reading, what are some of your favorite books that you've read that you think everyone should read?
I've read a ton of, I mean, that's kind of, I guess, the perk of being a debut author is you get to join the debut group. And so I've gotten to read a lot of other debuts from authors that are coming out this year. I've done a lot of ARC reading recently. 2 that recently just came out that I was able to read that are, again, they're available, so you can go buy them. But it's Live Your Best Lie by Jesse Weaver and 7% of Roe Devereux by Eleanor Clover. And they're both really, really good. Both YA.
All right.
So those are 2 suggestions. And then as far as like favorite books ever, again, I'm just such a young adult. I mean, that's just kind of the genre
Hey,
I read. Love and
same.
Gelato, Jenna Evans Welsh, anything by Jenna Evans Welsh. She's like my queen, who I
Have
want
you
to
read
be. She's
Spells for
amazing.
Forgetting?
Yes, it's so good. It's so
I
good.
loved it so much.
It was
It
very
made
I
me
got
so
it as an
happy.
arc. I think it might have been my first arc on NetGalley. I think.
Oh.
Which I'm really impressed by because I've never gotten one of her arcs before. I'm jealous now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
She
know
gets
why.
some good arcs. Like
I
she
do.
she got a Christina Lauren book recently, and I was like,
Yeah.
girl, what? How
I don't
dare
know
you?
how I did that.
I know one of my
she's
friends recently was like, I
Luminaries.
got the new Emily Henry, and I'm all like, cool, glad for you.
I didn't get the new Emily.
I didn't either. I
They were
got
like, no.
Berkeley. I'm very confused by Berkeley because they deny like 90% of my requests on NetGalley, but then they'll email me and be like, hey, do you want this one? And I'm like, what about
No.
the one that I wanted?
Yeah.
I asked you for. What's
Like,
going
who are
on
you?
here?
What's that
Who are
one?
you approving? That's what I want to know. I'm like, just
Right.
who do I need to talk to? Whose profile do I need to match to look like? Like, what's going on?
Right.
Like, Berkeley has some really good ones too, so I'm always like, God damn it.
Oh, we both got. No, wait. Did you get Tessa Bailey? You got Secret.
I got Tessa Bailey, but I won it in a Goodreads giveaway. I did not
That's
get
right.
it from NetGalley.
I got it from
was
NetGalley,
not that cool.
which was shocking.
I know. I remember when you got
I
it.
I requested it thinking like there's no way, but I'm just gonna like shoot my shot. And they were like, here you go. And I was like, okay, I'll read it.
NetGalley
We cannot ask any questions.
Right?
Yeah, I'm gonna read it real fast before you realize that you approved me.
All right. Well, we've done a lot of book talk. Let's talk about superheroes because
Yes, always.
Sarah's one of us. I don't have any questions. I just wanted to talk about superheroes.
So
And the floor is
like
yours.
Go
I'm
ahead.
obsessed with
Free
Loki.
speech.
Who is your absolute favorite superhero of all time? Because mine is Spider-Man. Like
Spider-Man.
genuinely,
Hands down.
yeah. Like
So
and not
good.
even in like a romantic way. That's the best superhero there is.
I mean, it's the love of, it's your superhero soulmate in every way.
Mhm.
It really is.
Yeah. My
He is.
13th birthday party was Spider-Man. It was like when the Tobey Maguire movies were coming out. I had a
Yes.
pool party.
Oh
with
my
Spider-Man.
gosh.
And someone the other day asked me, they're like, where did it start? I'm like, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. Like, that's where this whole thing started.
It
You
really
know?
Mine
is,
started
though.
my uncle is 10 years older than me, like almost to the day. And so like he had like kind of trouble relating to the 6-year-old when he was 16. So he would just like open up his Spider-Man comic and like read it to me and let me look at the pictures. And so it was like, I don't know, my uncle and then the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. And like
love
when
it.
you look at them now, they're terrible, but they're not either. Like they're so good.
They're
It's
so
like- it's-
nostalgic
you
too.
judge
It's
them.
best
Yeah.
nostalgia. It really is, because I know,
Mhm.
like, especially when the last one came out, I like rewatched all the Spider-Man movies, and I'm like, yeah, these don't hold up. They don't hold up, but
No.
they do. They
No.
really
Yeah,
do.
they
And just
do.
that way that the only nostalgia can.
That's exactly what
Um,
I did. When Far From Home came out, I rewatched all of them. And I was like, these no, but yeah, but no.
Yeah, we did we went to LA for my right before COVID, before like for my 30th birthday, my husband was like, I'm gonna bring you to Disneyland because I'm like a Disney adult. And one of the days we did the WB Studios tour, and we're walking through like the back lot and all of these little sets, and they're like, look at this little nook. That's where the Spider-Man kiss happened with Tobey Maguire and what's her name?
Kirsten
Oh, God.
Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst. And I was just like, this is like movie magic. This is like the greatest.
I need to take
kiss that
1,000
ever
photos
happened.
from where the moment happened.
And like, if anybody else were to go through my camera roll, they'd be like, why is she taking pictures of this weird ladder? And it's like, because
That was where it
that's
happened.
why.
Just imagine there are heads
this
here.
is where Tobey Maguire almost drowned. Okay. Ugh, that was like a
love
magical place to be.
I just realized I had
For
this
sure.
little guy next to me.
Oh, rude.
I don't know where he came from. I think my daughter just put him on my desk.
Sweet girl.
Sometimes
She knew.
she keeps trying to steal back. I have you know the zoom zooms that Disney does, and they have like 3 different
Yeah.
sizes. I have like a little, I think I have a small and a medium Bucky, and she keeps trying to steal them, and I'm like, child, I will throw you out. We do not mess with my Bucky.
We know our
Do
limits
not touch
around
the
here,
Bucky.
okay?
Listen.
You're cute to a point.
Exactly. Speaking of which, you nanny, right?
I do.
That's
I
your
do.
your other
Woo!
job. 3 kids?
3 kids, yeah. Oldest is 7, youngest is just turned 1. So it's
Oh,
like
wow.
I'm busy all
You're
day.
busy. Yeah, I was
Yes.
a nanny
Ooh.
many years ago, and it was similar in age. I think the oldest I had was 8. I think it was like 8, 6, and 4. Like they had them 2 years apart. They were
Mhm.
all girls, and I was. It's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah, mine are all girls too. You're just like, by the end of the day, you're just like, oh, there's a lot of feelings going around
There's
today.
a lot of feelings, and
Not
then you
counting
go home
mine,
and you
but-
write, and then you go home and write about it.
Yes, exactly. It's like, and honestly, they do inspire a lot, but it's like, it's really funny right now. Like the oldest, because she's in 1st grade and she's learning how to read. And so like, she's finally starting to read chapter books. She's like, I can't wait to read your book, Sarah. And I'm like, yeah, please wait like another 5 years before you dive into this. There's nothing bad, but
Yeah.
you're not ready. You're just
Yeah.
not ready.
You're not ready.
Not
It's
quite.
not the
But
time.
that's so sweet. Like
It's
that
so
must
sweet.
be so fun.
It's so fun. And it's like the questions, are there bad words in it, Sarah? And I'm like, yes, there are.
Full of them. Chock full.
Not as
We
much as
love
the
it.
next one I'm hearing.
No,
all
there's
the
a
fucks
lot.
go in there.
Oh yeah, they're all in there, galore, all in there.
Sarah had messaged me, and I think you had said like somebody sent you a review where they said it was too much adventure and too much cursing.
Too much cursing, yeah. And it was a NetGalley review, and they were just like, there was just too much going on. They were going to too many places, and like my personal preference, there was just too much swearing for me. And I'm like, okay, I've been waiting for this moment. I've been waiting for the too much swearing review because I was having a conversation with like another author about it, and like, yeah, you're gonna get it as a YA author, you're gonna get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, my time has come.
And I
Have they
don't
ever
even
met a
remember there being
teenager?
that many. Like
Exactly. And there's really not.
there was not that much in there. When you sent me that,
Have
I
they
was
ever met or been a teenager?
like, right? I don't know
Real.
any teenager who's not swearing up a storm.
Right.
Like every other word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've got
Yeah.
2 in my house and they try to hide it.
It's not working.
In.
Oh no,
Did
my
you know?
daughter
Did you know?
knows. She's like, Mommy, that's a grown-up word. And she'll ask me, she'll be like, Can I say the S word? And I was like, as long as we're at home and not in public. And then she'll be like, well, that was stupid. And I'm like, that's not what I thought you were gonna say, but okay.
Love it.
I've been playing Girls by Lizzo for my niece who just turned 4, right? And we play like the dubbed version, but it does start with the bitches. And so she'll go, bitches. And we're like, witches? We try to like, myself and my like 14-year-old twin nieces are like, witches, bitches. And I'm not her mom. So I think it's hilarious. But I'm sure she's gonna end up getting in trouble one day.
Oh, yeah. I tell my daughter, I'm like, as long as you don't say it in public, I don't mind. Once you say it in public, they're gonna call
Yeah.
people on me.
Or
And
I feel
that's
like
really
songs are a
awkward.
good way to do it too. You could always get away with it if you're singing it, because like
Yeah.
the 5-year-old I nanny is really into like Katy Perry right now. So obviously it's you're gonna hear it, and so she'll just sing along with it, and I'm just like, okay, cool.
At dinner tonight, they were singing "Welcome to the Black Parade," and they were talking about the beaten and the damned. And I was like, "Y'all just sing this so that you can say damned." And they were like, "Yep."
We know all your tricks.
just-
We
yeah.
used to use them.
Don't
love it.
what is it? Don't speak the dark magic to me, witch. I was there when it was.
They're like, it's not a phase, Mom, and you're like, trust me, it is.
Yeah, it is though.
Oh my god. Good times. But I feel like even as adults, we're now like, we read YA most of the time. Like,
Yeah.
it's just a time in your life where everything's relatable. Like,
Yeah.
everything.
And
No
you can
matter-
even look back and relate.
It was funny. I was having a conversation with a friend about this earlier, and they're like, yeah, I think the reason you like writing about this so much is because it's like basically the first time in your life everything is happening to you. And it's really fun to be able to capture those experiences and have them be messy and have them be imperfect and just like, yeah, this is just what's happening to me and this is how I'm feeling it right now.
And it's a good way to look back and be like, oh, that's why that happened that way. YA is fun.
It is. It's fun
really
to,
is.
I mean, and they're like, it's idiocracy, but it's in the most lovable way that you just want to like hold them to your chest and just be like, oh, I love you, you moron.
okay,
I love you
baby.
so much.
Yes.
One day you're going to be more confident. One day you're going to look
You're
back
on your way, kid.
You're
yes,
gonna get there.
It's going to be fine. It is so nostalgic.
It is very nostalgic. It's fun. It's a good time. You said you're on your way, kid, and I started immediately singing Taylor Swift in my head, even though that's not exactly the lyric. I was like, wait, why does that sound wrong?
Gaslighting yourself.
I do that a lot.
Yeah.
Which is fun because Mandy spent this week just gaslighting me into reading the Grishaverse, which I have not done yet, but I'll get there eventually.
One of my favorite things, so my 14-year-old nieces live with me like half of the year while their dad is overseas for work. And I'm like a nut about reminding them like to do their skincare. Like you've got to take care of your skin. You've got to wash your face and, you know, use SPF and reapply until you die. And so one of them talks about how she'll like get into bed without doing her skincare. And she's like, but then I just lay there and gaslight myself until I get up and do my skincare. I'm like, well, I don't want you to gaslight yourself. But if it's going to be about anything, let it be about your skin and learn to do it now so that you're not 30 going, why did I sleep in makeup for my whole teenage years?
Freds.
Yeah. Learn it now. Do as I say, not as I did. So yeah, gaslight yourself, kids.
It works.
And gaslight your friend into watching or reading your books so that then they can watch your shows and all of that. I need you to catch up, Karin.
One day. I got a lot to do, okay? Got a lot to do.
Well, I'm just saying you would freaking love it.
I know I would. It just takes time, okay? I have a lot of things to do and a lot of books to read. Sarah gets me. Why don't you get me, Mandy?
Oh, I get you. I get you.
All right, Sarah.
Literally having the angel and the devil on the shoulder moment.
I sent her this long TED talk about why she needed to watch or read it so then she could watch Shadow and Bone with me. And then like the cast helped me gaslight her because they posted a video that was like perfectly detailed towards
It was
her.
like a coordinated attack against me. Like, I don't know how she managed to get Hollywood on her side, but apparently she did. So
it's the manifestation power. It really does work.
I guess so, because
I was shopping in my downtown area this weekend and I found a bunch of candles that were like cut to say manifest it over and over again. And I sent Karin a picture. I was like, imagine the combined power of me and these candles. It would destroy the world. I did not bring one home with me because I was scared.
It's like the black flame candle from Hocus Pocus just like appears and it just all starts happening.
Yes.
I'm manifesting everything. Just evil
I feel like there's a story in there somewhere. Like, Sarah, hint, hint.
I was gonna say, add that to the list of all the stories we're going to write together. I love this.
Just gonna start like a group like note in the app and just everybody just keeps adding ideas and we'll figure it out. We'll figure out what works best.
We'll just divvy out. You're gonna write this one, or at least you'll write like 10,000 pages of this one, and then you'll give up. It's fine.
We're writing 10,000 pages.
Words. I can't think.
Like, hold on a second.
Oh my god, I cannot read that. I am sorry. 10,000 pages.
Listen, you would read 10,000 pages if it was about the Darkling. Don't you lie to me.
That's very true.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Or Aaron Warner.
It could just be like, I gotta bring him into this.
I know how to attack you right back.
10,000 of Aaron Warner just giving monologues.
That's her like ultimate book boyfriend.
That's
forever is
amazing.
Aaron from Shatter Me. I need nothing more than him to talk about wanting to memorize the words she says in the shape of her lips when she says them. Done, sold. That's all I want. And he's blonde, and I never go for blonde, but I
I
don't
was gonna
care.
say, please tell me you have the audiobook just to like listen over and over.
Yeah, but it's a wait, no, it isn't, man. Yeah, I did listen to the audiobook. I need to go re-listen to those. No, I don't. I got such a long TBR, which is so good.
Thank
It's
you for teaming up
painful.
with me, Sarah, to gaslight Mandy.
You're welcome. We're just its payback at this point.
I just need to bookmark that, like, hit the monologue, the big one that like Shatter Me girlies know what I'm talking about. I just need to bookmark that and just listen to it. It's
Or
like
you need
whenever
to get like an Etsy commission of like the Live Laugh Love, only it's the monologue on like a big like poster frame just to like hang it in your living room.
I
You
have a
just
whole
broke her.
wall over here in my library that I need to do something with.
You just broke her.
There's another one where somebody did like a cameo for Freddie Carter, who plays Kaz Brecker in The Shadow and Bone. But there's like a scene in the books where he talks about how like I would have come for you, and if I couldn't walk, I'd crawl to you. This is what we do. We fight. We never stop fighting. And like, so the actor is quoting the book, and it is like heart melting. And I need that written on everything and maybe tattooed. So I could do like a Aaron Warner quote and a Kaz Brecker quote. One of the twins is obsessed with Kaz, so she would love that. And I got a whole, I need to do like a mural of good book quotes.
See what you started.
Stay
something.
tuned. This is my husband's gonna have some words for you guys.
Literally
summer
words
project.
on your wall.
Yes.
I would like to direct all of that to Sarah. It was her idea. Thank you.
Oh.
No, I was gonna say no commission, no royalties necessary. You're good. You're good. Keep it all.
Hey,
Keep it all.
hey.
Oh, Sarah, thank you for hanging out with us. This was fun.
Well,
I
thank you for
know, this
having
has
me. I
been a lot
loved
of fun.
this.
We're so excited. I can't wait for everybody to meet Josie and Rowan. They
you.
are idiots, and I love them.
Yes, they're the most
We
lovable idiots.
also
Oh yes.
We also need to let you know, like, we don't
Yeah.
make these rules. We just enforce them like with blood, or something. That now that you've come on the podcast and talked to us, you are legally bound to come back and talk to us about every other creative endeavor that you have. So
I will do it like every
Next book.
week if you need me to. Just give me the play-by-play. We
Hey.
can commiserate. It would be the best.
yes, yes. So,
All right, so next
this
time
won't be the last we hear
This-
from you.
No, I think
Start the
Sarah fits-
commiseration segment. It would be great.
Yes,
we'll just all come
here
out
for it.
and start just whining about how our work in progress is going. Just be like, why?
Yeah.
Or just have it be like a monthly check-in. Be like, did you write anything? Nope.
Nope.
Okay, see you next
No.
month.
That's exactly what would happen too, because I'd just be like, no, absolutely not.
No,
I really do
Didn't
need
even
to
open
pick
my
it up.
laptop.
I officially started a Dabble subscription today, so maybe that means
Yay!
I'm gonna be picking up my work in progress again. I hope, but we'll see.
I know you were writing in Google Docs, right? And that stressed me out.
I was in Google Docs. Well, I had it on Microsoft Word, and then I put
That's
it
even
into
scarier.
and then I put it into a Google Doc so that you could read it. And then
Yeah,
I was
that's
writing
right.
in Google Docs. And then I got annoyed with the Google Doc. And then something happened with my Microsoft Word. So now it doesn't work. So we're going to go with
That's why
Dabble.
that's the scariest one.
You've got
I looked at Scrivener and I was like, that is a lot of money and I don't want
so
to pay
expensive. That's why I went with Dabble when I got a subscription, because Scrivener is so expensive.
It's
shocked.
yeah, it's a lot, but it's okay. We got this.
We worked it.
Between the three of us, we will gaslight each other into finishing our projects.
We will. That's gonna say. I feel like we need to like gaslight and manifest are the two things we are going to do for each other.
That
we need
this
a
happen.
group chat. We need
Yeah,
a group chat.
that's it.
Everybody's gonna write at least 50 words today. Like 3 sentences.
hey, if it works, I'm
Hey,
all for
bully
it.
me. It's
Did
fine.
you open
I
the
can
app? I
take
feel
it.
like we need to have like just a bare minimum bar. Did you open the app? Did you try?
Yeah. If you open the app today, then tomorrow, let's write a word. Let's take out one just in the whole, like, have a daily goal.
Okay, this is the best writers group ever. I feel like
love
this
it.
is going to
Yeah.
be a great success. All right,
Yeah.
stay tuned, fans.
Yeah.
Eventually, in about 5 years, one of us will have finished one project.
The next project.
Maybe.
May the odds ever be in our favor.
Yes.
Yes. All right. We have to let Sarah go before I laugh so hard I pee myself. Thank you for joining us. Everybody go, I guess right now you can still pre-order That Wasn't in the Script. There is a pre-order campaign going on right now. Check out Sarah's socials, which I will link, and you can submit your receipt to get the pre-order goodies. And make sure you read That Wasn't in the Script because it is so much fun. And prepare for adventures.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I expect text messages this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll have them.
Prepare for apparently adventures and too much cursing. So prepare
Too
for
many?
those two things.
No,
God.
too much
Too many
There is no
adventures
such
and too much
thing.
cursing.
Yeah, apparently that's a thing. I didn't know
That's
that.
the, I was
I'm
gonna
gonna
say that
have-
should be the book blurb right there.
In my net, like I'm going to put in my net gallery review, not enough cursing just to counter that one. I'm gonna show her.
I love it so much.
I feel like there could have been a little bit more cursing.
These teenagers were not realistic. They did not curse enough.
Not enough fucks were given, okay?
Exactly. Thank you for hanging out with us, Sarah. This was so much
Thank
fun.
you.
And we
Thank
can't
you.
wait to have you back next time.
No,
Yes,
we can't
anytime.
wait.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Have
We'll
a good
talk
night.
to you
We'll talk
soon.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.
I
Oh my
love
gosh.
her. She's so fun.
She's so much fun.
She's
That
so
was-
freaking cute.
She's
And like
adorable.
I felt like she was speaking to my soul about a lot.
Right?
Like I
which-
felt like in Step Brothers when they're like, did we just become best friends?
I've literally sent her that gif multiple times.
Yeah.
Like so many times because literally we're the same person. It felt like
Yeah.
I was just talking to you.
Yeah.
Like we were
Yeah, I
still
get
just
that.
talking. We were just talking to each other, but there was just a third voice. It's just so much
Love her.
fun.
What are you anticipating this week or soon?
Well, I am anticipating sitting down and talking to Robbie frickin' Couch next week.
That feels weird to say.
I can't. What?
I don't understand.
Still cannot wrap my mind around that. So that's super exciting.
I'm
that
gonna
also
take credit for that one for my manifestations.
You did manifest that.
You're
You did
welcome,
manifest
guys.
that. It's funny because I had jokingly before we did that, I had jokingly been like, haha, want to come on my podcast? And then we were talking about other things and I just figured that he had completely forgotten about it. And I wasn't going to be like, let me bring this up again. And then you said that throwaway line on the podcast. And then after that, he was like, okay, so when can we schedule? I'm like, I'm sorry, what? What's happening right now? What? So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And obviously that means I will be reading If I See You Again Tomorrow this week.
You're gonna love it.
I already know I'm gonna love it. It's gonna be so much fun. I love both his other books, so I'm very excited. And I'm also looking forward to meeting Robbie in real life in April, when he goes on tour for If I See You Again Tomorrow. He'll be in San Francisco, and so will I, and also so will Adam Silvera.
Yep.
So that's gonna be very fun. And I'm also looking forward to Y'all West. That list of authors. I literally had to go through the list of authors and be like, okay, these are the people that I want to see. These are the books of theirs that I already have. These are the books that I may get between now and then. I don't know. We'll see. I have a whole checklist. It's beautiful, honestly.
I love
I'll send you a picture of it because it looks so
Yeah.
good. There's literally a little check boxes next to each cover. I was very, very extra. So I'm looking forward to that. I know. I could never all the time. I was talking to a friend yesterday who was like, you should come down for the LA Times Festival of Books. And I'm like, that's the weekend before Y'all West. And she's like, we can make it work. I'm like, I have to be in San Francisco the night before. And she's like, eh. I'm like, now I'm so tempted. I was already tempted, but I'm like, ugh. So I don't know. I might do that too, even though it's 2 weekends in a row of driving down to LA, but it's for books. And you know how I love books. Plus Lauren is going to be at the LA Times Books Festival. So I'd get to meet Lauren IRL as well, which would be awesome. Yeah. And also Robbie said he's going to be there. And if he's going to be in San Francisco Friday night and then at the book festival Saturday and Sunday in LA,
He's
I can
probably
do it too.
flying. Yeah.
Shush.
I
Let
was
me
gonna say,
justify
he's
myself.
probably a sane person and flying.
Okay, listen. Not all of us have publisher money, okay?
I mean, fair. But you should at least look to see if what you would spend in gas you
Yeah.
could save, because gas ain't cheap these days.
Yeah,
and
but
sometimes you can find a last minute flight that's cheap.
yeah, but I also have to buy 2 plane tickets,
Well, yeah.
which is the difference, which is why we usually drive, because
Yeah.
it's cheaper if you've got more than one person. But if it's just
Yeah.
one person, then you probably cheaper to just fly.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know.
Huh.
But that's the thing that I'm considering. And also, I guess it'll be out by the time this episode comes out, but I was interviewed on another podcast
Oh, yeah.
last night. I think I just got a text letting me know when it's gonna come out. Oh, it's coming out tomorrow.
Oh, that's exciting.
So
Our tomorrow, not the listeners tomorrow.
Yes.
So the
So
listeners can
it'll be
go.
out. Yes. So if you are listening to this podcast right now, that other podcast has already released the episode that I am on. And the podcast is called Did You Hear That? I think. I'm double checking. Well, because he's like, I think I don't even know what my podcast is called anymore. I'm like, listen, I don't know what your podcast is called either, babe.
Yeah, I need to know.
I need to know so that I can tell my listeners. Yeah, so you're going to search up Did You Hear This? That's DIDJA. I'll put a link to the episode in our episode description. But we just talked about parenting during the pandemic and how all that and school and all of that. So it's just me and like 3 of my college friends just sitting around shooting the shit. Which
I love that.
it was fun. It was a lot of fun. So if y'all want to hear me on that, go to wherever the comments or the description is. I don't know. Over there, that way. Somewhere. You'll find it. What are you looking forward to, anticipating?
I'm looking forward to finishing Shadow and Bone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to finishing the Evergreen Air. I put in my leave and I confirmed with my mother for our morning at the used book sale in a couple of weeks. I'm really hoping the douchebag is back.
Oh, yes.
Who likes to fill up boxes without looking at books he's taking and then try and like shove them under a table and claim them as his.
Or put them right next to other boxes that are for people to dig through.
Right. And then try to mine and then shove children. This year your kid won't be here. Okay. So this year
you can throw hands.
He ain't gonna hold back. I can throw hands. Like especially when he pushed those little kids. I was like,
oh yeah,
I want to wreck your life, but I don't know that these kids' parents want me to just start screaming in front of them. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing that guy again. I hope.
You'll have to keep me updated because I need to know if he needs to go to the hospital or anything like that.
Yeah,
I will send a bag of shit to him.
Vlog it. I'll vlog it if I send him to the hospital.
Yes, please.
Josh and I are gonna have it's a mini vacation. I got him tickets at Christmas time to see Day Seeker in Pensacola on a random Tuesday night in April. And so it is nigh. It's coming up. So the twins are going to stay with their dad's girlfriend and we're going to go down and just have like a very quick, like we're going to drive down Tuesday and drive home Wednesday. A very quick little beach getaway to go to a concert.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a 3-hour drive. So it's really not super far. And I was
that's not that bad.
I was like, we could technically drive down there like the day of and just drive home after. And he was like, no, we're gonna at least make a little baby trip of it.
Yeah,
so we're gonna do that. And then the twins are gonna be on spring break soon and we're not gonna go anywhere, but it'll still be nice. It'll still be nice to have them not be in school.
For sure.
Yeah, I've taken like a bunch of like random leave off coming up soon and I don't really remember what any of it's for, but I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I get a random we get Caesar Chavez Day off, so I get a random long weekend at the end of the month. Hey. It's just a 3-day weekend, but it's still better than nothing.
Yeah, I'd take it.
So yeah, and then I'm taking a couple days off in April because I'm going. I took the day off to go up to San Francisco, even though I could go after work, but why would I do that?
Yeah,
That's silly. I took the day off to see Chloe. I can take the day off to see Robbie.
yeah,
And
for
then
sure.
I took an extra day off to drive down to LA for Y'all West. So yeah,
That will be so fun.
it'll be nice to have mini breaks. Mini
Yes,
breaks. I think everybody deserves them.
I do too. So, do we
All
want to do a
right.
spiel?
Yeah, I think it's spiel time.
Hey.
All right. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, follow, and subscribe wherever you are listening to us. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Instagram and TikTok at The Incoherent Fangirl and Twitter at Incoherent Girls, even though we hate Twitter.
Oh, we hate you,
It's
Twitter.
the worst. You can please also like our Facebook page and then head over to our website, theincoherentfangirl.com, where you can also stream all of our episodes as well as read our blog, which has many, many reviews. I was talking to Angie the other day. She's like, I need to catch up on those. I'm like, when was the last time you read it? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, you might be there for a while because we wrote a lot.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
head on over there if you need some book recs because we make a lot of them.
We got those.
And you can also subscribe to our Patreon. Go to theincoherentfangirl.com/Patreon. You can subscribe and possibly see our faces. We're very cute. Mandy's drinking water right now. It was a
got
terrible
little
time
thirsty.
for me.
Hydrate.
Always hydrate. Always be hydrating. Oh God, I just quoted SpongeBob. That's literally a line from SpongeBob.
I love it.
So head on over there to subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, you want to tell us that we're pretty, you can email us at theincoherentfangirl@gmail.com. We love hearing from y'all.
Yes.
And one last way to support the podcast is you can rate and review on whatever platform you're listening to us on. We would greatly appreciate that.
Yes.
Please let us know that you're
Absolutely.
listening because sometimes it feels like talking into a void.
Hey, I'm not a void.
Not
I'm just kidding.
as a unit, we are talking. I'm talking to you and you're talking to me, but as a unit.
Are you there, listeners? It's
It's
me, Mandy and Karin.
and she is at Mandy Perv on all the things.
And she's at Ms. Made in China on all the things.
And once you followed us and the podcast across social media, you can head on over and do some self-care by visiting our internet besties.
Yes.
Start with Here Comes the Nerd. You go to herecomesthenerd.com, use code FANGIRL, and you'll get 20% off your first order.
Then, while you're waiting on that to arrive, head over to onceuponabookclub.com and use code Mandy10 for 10% off. Get you some bookish boxes and goodies and all of the things.
And once those have come in, you've got your nice comfy book to sit down and read, and you've got your art hanging around. You're going to want some tea to cozy up with. Head over to grimoiretea.com and use code FANGIRLT to get 10% off your order. But remember, there's no I in Fangirl. It's FANGRLTEA.
And last but not least, once you've read your book club book of the month, you're going to need to read The Fire and Starlight Saga by Amber D. Lewis. Okay. I don't make the rules. I just very strictly enforce them. So you're going to head to amberdlewis.com and use code fangirl10 for 10% off your purchase. You're going to thank us later. And don't forget, we will lie for you. If you have parents, significant others, roommates, anybody who's on your case about spending, I don't care if it's from our besties or not. Just say, oh, this was a prize from Mandy and Karin. We'll back you up. You won a contest. Good job.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thanks for playing.
It's from us. We sent it to you.
Yeah.
We're fairies like that.
Exactly. We will back you up, y'all. Don't forget it.
Yes.
We're on your side. We approve of self-care.
Yes.
We will do what we have to make sure you take care of yourself.
That serotonin.
Yes.
Get
exactly.
that dopamine hit.
And
that was the Incoherent Fangirl.
Thank y'all for listening. We love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
We are sponsored by our friends at Here Comes the Nerd. Pins, stickers, magnets, and more. Here Comes the Nerd has happy art for all fandom-loving hearts. New customers can use coupon code FANGIRL during checkout for 20% off their first order at herecomesthenerd.com. Coupon applies to ready-to-ship items only.